السلام علیکم ویورز، آپ دیکھ رہے ہیں وائس آف ٹورانٹو ٹیلی ویژن کی لائیو براڈ کاسٹ. میرے ساتھ میں ہوں آپ کا ہوسٹ انجم ملک، اور آئی ہوپ ایوری باڈی از ڈوئنگ ویل. سب سے پہلے تو آج 15 اگست ہے، تو اپنے وائس آف ٹورانٹو ٹیلی ویژن کی پوری ٹیم کی طرف سے، ہمارے چینل کی طرف سے، میری طرف سے، جتنی ہماری انڈین کمیونٹی ہے ان کو ہیپی انڈیپینڈنس ڈے ٹو انڈیا. اور آئی ہوپ دے آر انجوائنگ دیئر انڈیپینڈنس ڈے ٹوڈے. Pakistan had the Independence Day on the 14th, and happy belated Independence Day to Pakistan as well. وائس آف ٹورانٹو ٹیلی ویژن آپ سارے آئی پی چینلز پہ دیکھتے ہیں، اور ہم آپ کے ساتھ یوٹیوب پہ بھی ہوتے ہیں اور فیس بک پہ بھی ہوتے ہیں. ہمارا سوشل میڈیا ہینڈل جو ہے دیٹ از ایٹ وائس آف ٹورانٹو ٹی وی. اگر آپ ڈیورنگ دا پروگرام ہم سے بات کرنا چاہیں، ہمارے گیسٹ سے بات کرنا چاہیں، تو ہمارے اسٹوڈیوز کا نمبر جو ہے ہمارے اسکرین پہ رہتے ہیں. 9056704114 is the number to give us a call and talk to our guests and to us and exchange your sentiment with us. آج کا جو پروگرام ہے بڑا امپورٹنٹ ہے. سب سے پہلے تو میں یہ بتاتا چلوں کہ الگوما یونیورسٹی جو ہے اس کے کچھ کیمپسز ہیں، برامپٹن میں ہیں، سو سینٹ مری میں ہیں، اور ان کے وائس پریزیڈنٹ ہمارے ساتھ ہیں. ان سے بھی آج ایسوسیٹ پریزیڈنٹ ہمارے ساتھ، ان سے بھی بات کریں گے فردر ان کے بہت سارے اور کیمپسز جو یہ لانچ انہوں نے کیے ہوئے ہیں، اور وہاں پر کیا کیا ہو رہا ہے، اور کون کون سے پروگرامز جو ہیں یہ رن کر رہے ہیں. اور آپ گھر بیٹھے ہوئے ہمارا جو پروگرام دیکھ رہے ہیں، اور اگر آپ کے لو ونز جو ہیں وہ انڈیا میں ہیں، پاکستان میں ہیں، سری لنکا میں ہیں، بنگلہ دیش میں ہیں، جہاں جہاں پہ بھی ہماری آواز پہنچ رہی ہے، اور آپ چاہتے ہیں کہ آپ اپنی فیملی ممبرز کو کینیڈا میں بلانا چاہتے ہیں، تو الگوما یونیورسٹی جو ہے ایک بڑا معتبر نام ہے. ان سے ہم ڈیٹیل سے بات کریں گے. لیکن بڑا امپورٹنٹلی یہ بھی ہے کہ جب آپ یہ پروگرام دیکھ رہے ہوتے ہیں تو آپ کے سینٹیمنٹس بڑے ضروری ہیں. آپ کو کوئی بھی کویشچن ہو تو آپ ہمیں فون اٹھا کے کریں اور ہم سے بات کریں، اور ہمارے جو گیسٹ ہیں ان سے آپ رابطہ کر سکتے ہیں ڈائریکٹلی. جو بھی آپ کے ذہن میں کوئی کویشچن ہو، کوشش ہماری یہ رہتی ہے اس پروگرام کے توسط سے، پرائم ٹائم میں میرے ساتھ جو پروگرام ہوتا ہے، کہ چاہے وہ پولیٹیشین ہو، چاہے وہ ہمارے یہاں پر ممبر آف پارلیمنٹس ہوں، ہمارے بزنسز ہوں، کہ اویئرنیس جو ہے وہ کریٹ کی جائے. اور وہ اویئرنیس جو ہے وہ اس لیے ضروری ہے کہ جس ڈیجیٹل میڈیا سوسائٹی میں ہم رہتے ہیں، اور جس ورلڈ میں ابھی ہم ہیں، اٹس ویری امپورٹنٹ کہ جو انفارمیشن شیئر ہوتی ہے وہ ایکوریٹ ہونی چاہیے، تاکہ آپ انفارم ڈیسیجن لے سکیں اپنی زندگی کے اندر. تو آج بھی میری کوشش یہ ہے کہ اس حوالے سے جو ہم بات کریں گے ڈیورنگ اس ٹرانسمیشن میں، اگر آپ ہم سے بات کرنا چاہیں تو آپ فون اٹھا کے ہم سے بات کر سکتے ہیں. دو ایک چیزیں بڑی امپورٹنٹ میں اور کہتا چلوں کہ اگر آپ وائس آف ٹورانٹو ٹیلی پہ کوئی بھی پروگرام کرنا چاہتے ہیں تو ہمارے پاس ٹائم اویلیبل ہے، ہمارے پاس ٹیکنالوجی اویلیبل ہے، اور یو کین گیو اس اے کال آفٹر دا پروگرام. اینڈ اگر آپ براڈ کاسٹنگ سے ہیں، اگر آپ کسی بھی میڈیم سے ہیں، اور آپ چاہتے ہیں کہ آپ بزنس اونر ہیں، آپ چاہتے ہیں کہ آپ کے بزنس کی تفصیل جو ہے وہ آپ خود یہاں آ کے اس چیئر پہ بیٹھ کے آپ لوگوں تک پہنچا سکیں، یا آپ ہمارے ساتھ اٹیچ ہونا چاہتے ہیں، تو گیو اس اے کال آفٹر دا پروگرام. 9059654786 یہ میرا ذاتی نمبر ہے. 9059654786 اس پہ آپ مجھ سے کال کر کے مجھ سے پروگرام کے بعد بات کر سکتے ہیں. اور اگر آپ ای میل بھیجنا چاہیں تو voiceoftorantotv@gmail.com ہمارا ای میل ایڈریس ہے. اس پہ آپ ہمیں لکھ سکتے ہیں اور ہم سے بات کر سکتے ہیں. تو میں چاہوں گا یہ کہ اس سے پہلے کہ میں برینڈ کے پاس جاؤں اور ان سے ہم بات کریں، اگر آپ کے کوئی بھی پاکستان میں، مڈل ایسٹ میں، دبئی میں، یو اے ای کے اندر، سعودی عربیہ میں، کویت میں، کہیں کہیں بھی جہاں جہاں آپ کے اگر کوئی ایسے ممبرز رہتے ہیں اور جو بچے ہیں وہ کینیڈا میں آ کے پڑھنا چاہتے ہیں، تو گورنمنٹ آف کینیڈا نے بہت ساری اس وقت جو نئے ریفارمز کیے ہیں، اس کے اندر بہت سارے اچھے پروگرامز چل رہے ہیں جو لیڈز کرتے ہیں ٹورڈ پرماننٹ ریزیڈنس کے لیے. تو ہم کوشش کرتے ہیں کہ ہم بات کرتے ہیں برینڈ کے ساتھ ان ڈیٹیل کہ یہ پروگرام کیا ہیں، ان کی یونیورسٹی جو ہے وہ کون کون سے پروگرام آفر کر رہی ہے، اس کا ٹینیور کتنا ہے، سلیکشن پروسیس کیا ہوتا ہے، فیس کتنی ہوتی ہے، اور کتنے گھنٹے وہ کام بھی کر سکتے ہیں ڈیورنگ دیئر اسٹڈیز ان ٹو کینیڈا اینڈ آل دیٹ. So I will, without further ado, I will take, go to my very dear guest here, Brent. He is an associate director with Algoma University, a very humble man since I've known him, and he's very proactive what he does. A very good evening to you, Brent. How are you tonight?
I'm great. Thanks for the introduction. I hope you said some nice things about me, but it's great to be here.
Yeah, I was talking in general about, what people need to know. If they have their loved ones in any part of the world and they want to come to Canada as a student, what they need to do. So let's talk a little bit about Algoma University. I know we had an opportunity to speak with Asima, the president of Algoma. She shed a light on a lot of what the university came into existence and all that. But today's program, I want to focus more on the student visas, about the programs that you have in place right now, and what are those programs right now? When is the semester does start at Algoma University? What is the selection criteria? How much band, CMB band you must have, English language testing, who's required, who's exempted? Let's talk in general about all those things today. So go ahead.
Sure. No, that sounds great. That's a lot to cover, but happy to talk about all of those items. And I think when we're talking about Algoma University, just like the very basics that we want to make sure that everyone's aware of is that Algoma's one of Canada's public universities. We're one of the 23 public universities located in Ontario.
Okay.
We're over around 60-ish, probably a little bit older than 60 years old now, and have campuses in Northern Ontario and the Greater Toronto area, Brampton specifically.
Yeah. Okay. So for someone who's watching us tonight and they would like to bring in their loved one into this country on a student visa, what is the first thing they have to do to reach out to Algoma? And why Algoma University?
Sure. Like so why Algoma? I mean, there's lots of factors. Now, I think number one is often deciding which country somebody wants to go to, right? So, but we'll operate. You said, someone here has a loved one, they want to come here. So once they've chosen Canada, then they're looking, probably more specifically, okay, Canada's a big country. And this is, we make sure this is very clear to people, If you have a loved one in Vancouver, you can't study in Montreal if you want to be close to them. But so they want to come to Ontario, they want to come to the Greater Toronto area, then I think they start looking at programs, right? Like you're going to come to Canada to study a program, either undergraduate program or a graduate program. So you need to find out, okay, what university or college offers the program that I'm looking for. We're lucky at Algoma. We offer lots of high demand programs in areas like business, information technology, computer science, and project management. So students find, okay, Algoma University, it's a university, it's in Ontario, it's in the Greater Toronto area, they got the program I want. What's the next thing they look at? Often it's price. Fees vary wildly amongst universities for international students. So can I afford to go there? And more often than not, the answer at Algoma is yes. We're proud to be the most affordable public university in Ontario for international students. So if you have a location you want, you have a program you want, a price that you can afford, you and your family can afford, and you obviously meet the admission criteria, then next step is really to reach out to the university.
So just to focus a little bit about that part, what are the admission criteria for someone who is watching us tonight? Because we have viewers everywhere around the world.
Yeah.
So we would like to put out the accurate information when it comes to somebody is deciding to come to Canada, and when they're searching, for a particular program they want to enroll in. Pricing is obviously a huge thing for international students. But what is that criteria that Algoma University have established that you must have to have that before we accept you as a student?
Sure. So at Algoma, we look at, there's really two criteria: your academic background.
Okay.
So
who's eligible, first of all? Who's eligible?
Yeah, so your level of study. So we would look for a student who's they have to have completed if they're coming into an undergraduate program, completed their secondary studies.
So if somebody's coming from Pakistan or India or Middle East, they have done a high school, which is grade 12.
Yeah, class 12. Class 12 is what we would look for. In general, class 12 or class 12 equivalent.
Okay.
And so they've met our standards, and our standard varies a little bit from subject to subject, but generally we're saying if you have a B average in your studies, you can study, in any of the programs at Algoma University. So number one is academic background. And then the other piece that we look at is English language proficiency, right? We teach in English, obviously, so you're going to study and write exams in English. So for us, the most We accept a lot of different English language tests. We accept TOEFL, we accept Duolingo, we accept others, but the most popular by far is the IELTS exam.
IELTS, okay.
Is what students are choosing to write. And at Algoma, you need to score 6 in each band. So score of 6.0 in each band on the IELTS exam.
So listening, reading, and writing
skills,
and speaking.
Yep.
Speaking.
Yep.
6 band across the board.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
So really, I mean, those are the two factors for us.
Do you feel that people have problems from our part of the world to get to 6 bands when they are from high school?
Not so much. Like I find, like from South Asia, I think the English is pretty good. Like most people can speak and have enough of a knowledge of English that they might have to study for the IELTS exam, but it's not a challenge. It's more of a challenge in say East and Southeast Asia, where English is not as common language, just in everyday business and commerce. But no, I think from South Asia, they might have to study and take a course, but we find most students are able to meet the criteria.
So any of these countries are exempted from IELTS, like when they are looking to enroll in Algoma University, or everybody has to have?
It's not so much the country where you reside in, but it's based on the curriculum that you studied.
Okay.
So if you're taking a local curriculum in any of these countries, then you need to write the IELTS exam. Where you might be exempted is if you're graduating from a school, you studied a Cambridge curriculum, for instance, or an IB curriculum, then you may be exempted at that point, but nothing to do sort of on where you live.
Okay, okay. Now, so that is just one part where someone have to be high school, grade 12.
Yep.
English language testing band 6 on across the board.
Yep.
That's number 2. So when people are going on your websites and they are trying to look for the courses and they apply, what happens next? What's the process?
Sure. So they apply to the university. So we're going to reach out to them almost right away. They apply within 24 to 48 hours. We should reach out to them. And we're going to ask for basically proof, right? So we're going to ask for documents, so transcripts. So it's good to get.
So the first point is that when they apply, they reach out, you guys reach out to them, you're looking for their education documents.
Yeah, official documents from their.
Attested or non-attested?
We can, at some point it needs to be attested.
At some point, okay.
But to
in
start,
the beginning to
non-attested,
start.
we can look at non-attested and we can say, you know what, if you meet our requirements, requirement is you have to provide these attested documents at some point, but non-attested is good to start. And then the same thing with a language test, right? We'll be looking for a language test score. So often students haven't written it yet, but they'll tell us a date when they're writing it.
Okay.
Like that we're, I haven't written it, but I'm planning to write it in 3 months.
So if somebody have already written that exam, how long that is valid for?
That I don't process the applications myself, but I would say I think it's around 2 years. But
2 years, okay.
But I check on our website to
no
verify
problem.
that.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is that process. Okay,
Yeah.
and then at what stage you guys accept or decline the applicants? Do you guys do any video calling, or does your recruiters pick up a phone and talk to the customers or the clients or the students to make them qualify? Okay, we have gone through all this, now we're just reaching out to you to say hello and we can go to the next step.
Yeah, we don't do a lot of that to qualify the students necessarily, but certainly a lot of that to provide additional information, right?
Okay.
So if students are, if they're missing any required documents, if they have questions about anything, if they missed a deadline, for instance,
Okay.
then we're always reaching out to them. And we've got local offices in a lot of countries, so they can deal with someone living locally in the same time zone as them if they prefer to do that.
Okay, okay. So that's that.
Yeah.
So once the application has been assessed by Algoma University team, whoever your team members are, at what point the letter of acceptance is issued to them and how long it is valid for?
Letter of acceptance, well, it's issued usually as soon as the application is complete, right? So as soon as we receive the attested documents, they'll receive this letter of acceptance. So application's complete, here's your letter of acceptance. Letter of acceptance doesn't have expiry date on it so much, but it's specific to a term, right?
Yeah.
So, for instance, if you were starting this September, your letter of acceptance would be specific to that term. So
Correct.
it's for September 2023. If for some reason you can't make it, normal reason is visa processing is delayed, right?
It's taking too long.
Then you would reach out to us and ask to defer it. So we would defer it to
the
another
next
term,
semester.
and then the next one. So as long as as part of the visa application process, students pay a deposit to the university, right? A tuition deposit that's required as part of that process. As long as you've paid a deposit, you can defer your application as many terms as you need to.
So that deposit is a 1-year fee?
One semester.
One semester fee?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is the yearly semester fee right now for Algoma University in general?
And Canadian dollars,
Canadian
10,000 per semester.
10,000 per
Canadian,
semester. Okay,
CAD.
10,000.
Yep.
So they have to deposit $10,000 to Algoma University.
Yep.
After they got their letter of acceptance.
Yep.
And now after that, what's the next process? What happens?
Applying for their visa, right? They reach out to the Canadian government, apply for their visa. So when you apply for your visa to come study at Algoma University, you need to provide, from us, you need to provide your letter of acceptance.
Right.
You need to provide proof of the tuition deposit.
The funds.
So the receipt you get for that.
Yeah.
And then your language score are
Okay.
kind of the three things that, now the government will look, more closely at all of your documents
Yeah.
than probably we do, financial documents and stuff, but that's the requirement.
Okay. Now, in your own opinion, you guys do this on a regular basis. What are the obstacles students have when they do get the letter of acceptance? They have gave you a deposit, but they still can't get the visas. What's the process, and what is the one of the other protocols that if they don't get a visa, would they get their money back? If there's any administration costs, what is that?
If their visa is denied, they can request their money back. If they request it back, we give it back. I think there is a processing fee, but it's very minimal.
Nominal. Okay.
I think that the number one reason that visas are getting rejected often is just poorly completed applications. Like if you hear from the IRCC or the Canadian government, they'll say that take your time to make sure you fill out the application correctly. And oftentimes that means working with a consultant, like a registered Canadian immigration consultant or someone like that, to help you to help ensure that you have it completed correctly.
So do you guys have people associated with you in Canada who would help and aid those students across the world to do their paperwork for them?
Not, we don't. Like, we have an immigration team that works with Algoma students.
Okay.
So once you're a student at Algoma, we work with you there. What a lot of students are choosing to do is applying through immigration consultants on their own, right? Like they're contacting them on their own to help with that visa application process.
Okay. So that's that. Now, in your opinion, do you think that people from Pakistan versus India, as we can see that, I visited your campus a few times, and I witnessed that you have more people coming from India versus from Pakistan.
Yep.
Is it because of the visa processing issues we have in Pakistan, that is, or it is because, as you know, that for several months or a year, like years, the application were not processed in Pakistan, it was processed in a third country, and that was delaying a lot of process. So by you guys visiting Pakistan, you've been meeting the officials there, what are the assurances have been given to you that, okay, when students wants to go to Canada and they apply through Algoma University, and the embassies in those countries, the Canadian High Commissions, would work with them and would expedite the process?
Yeah,
if any.
I mean, for us, issues with Pakistan have more been around delays in processing than rejections. Like, we're certainly getting a lot of visas from students from Pakistan. They're getting approved.
Okay.
Timing was slow, but I think that we're very confident that this move to process the applications in Pakistan is going to make a big difference, right? Like, it should speed things up. It should expedite the process, and I think it's also a sign that there's confidence in Pakistan as a market, that everybody expects it to be a growing market. One difference between the two countries, I would say, is India, certain parts of it, northern India, are very pro-Canada. Canada is their number one study destination, right? Where I think in my experience in other countries, Pakistan being one of them, Canada is growing. There's more and more appetite to come to Canada, but they're still looking at, many students are choosing to go to the UK or the US or other markets as well.
You feel that way. So when you guys are marketing this in that region in Pakistan, what are you focusing on when you make your visits over there?
Well, now I mean promoting Canada as a destination, for sure. Like in my opinion, Canada is the best place in the world to be an international student. You know, it's an incredible country to live in. It's diverse. It's safe. The quality of the education is fantastic. You really can't go wrong with a public Canadian university or public Canadian college. It's very affordable and welcoming, which is number one, right? Like we're a country that wants international students to come study, but also want them to stay, right? Like we're very welcoming to these students.
Okay. I'm just going to let my audience know that we are watching Voice of Toronto Television, and we are live on social media, on your channels. We have Brent with us from Algoma University. If you have a question, please pick up the phone, give us a call at 905-670-4114. 905-670-4114 is our studio line too, and the lines are open now. You can give us a call, we can take a call, and you can ask a question. At the same time, if you have any one of your loved ones in Pakistan or India or Middle East, and they wish to come to Canada under the student program, Algoma University, you know, they have great programs. We're going to talk about all those programs in a minute, but I mean, Brent is going to talk about his websites, his contact informations. We're going to ask him to repeat that during this transmission, so a lot of people who are watching us, they get that information right from him, and get in touch with them. Send them an email, get that information from your loved ones across the countries, wherever they are. Bring their CV into Canada, let them assess it, and let them get back to you as soon as possible. We will also going to ask them in regards to the next semesters when the admissions will be open for that. So keep on watching us. And so let's talk a little bit about a couple of more important things.
Yep.
So right now we are in August. So the next semester that people can apply for would be which semester?
We're actually right now we're recruiting students for May. So January is full.
Okay. Oh, it's full.
Already,
okay.
Yeah. The last day to submit, people have a little bit of time. The last day to submit an application for January is this Friday. As of Monday, we're taking applications for May.
May.
Yeah.
So your semester starts in January and the second one in May?
Yeah, September, January, and May.
Oh, September, January, and May.
Yeah.
So there are three
Yep.
semesters. Okay. And so people need to start their process working at minimum 3 months in advance.
Yeah,
minimum 3 to 4 months.
Like if you're living in Canada, 3 months is okay. But I mean, if you're coming from overseas, I would say probably closer to 8 to 12 months
8 to 12
to be safe, and to give yourself time to find housing and that sort of thing, travel as well.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. So when you say when you live in Canada, so technically some people feel that this is just an international university, people are coming from abroad to study in Canada. But let's elaborate a little bit about that as well, that people in Canada also, they can come and study with you too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're a Canadian university, you know, and up until 5 years ago, the majority of our students were Canadian students, and we're still seeing a lot of growth. Our Brampton campus in particular, I think the growth in Canadian students this year is around 40 or 50%. We've got a partnership with the local school boards, with the Peel and the Dufferin Peel school boards, that are going to see local high school students studying on our campus this year. So we're very excited to be attracting more and more students.
So there are a lot of students I see they're coming from overseas into colleges as well,
Yep.
like Sheridan College. I think they collaborate with you and some other colleges. Now those college students from those colleges can transit into Algoma University as well?
Yeah, absolutely. When they complete their diploma, a lot of them will decide then that they also want a university degree, so they'll receive transfer credit for the work they did at the college.
Okay.
We'll apply that to their degree. So
Okay.
they can usually earn a degree in somewhere between 1 to 2 years.
Okay, okay. Viewers, we're going to run Algoma University commercial right now and few other messages. Please watch that, and we're going to come back after this break in about 2 to 3 minutes of time. And during that, if you have a question, you can give us a call, and we'll continue our conversation right after these messages. Please stay with us. You are watching Voice of Toronto Television live with me on Anjum Malik on Prime Time with Anjum Malik. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
I want to be a data scientist. That's something I'm passionate about. I want to bring a change in the medical aspect. Data scientists do collection of the data, then they analyze the data, and then they transform the data into meaningful conclusions. Algoma is unique because we get a chance to do one-on-one interaction with professor, and that's the best part.
The need of computer science graduate is huge. Nowadays, the industry demand is changing every day, and Algoma is adaptable. Algoma is changing its course content, changing the degree programs, and giving several certificate courses that the industry is actually looking for.
Personalized learning is the hallmark of Algoma's university experience. Algoma is offering the accelerated second degree. It's the only one in province.
Algoma not only just give us an in-campus experience and skill set, but they also help us develop how to present ourselves in real world. Where do I see myself in 5 to 10 years? I see myself working at some multinational corporation as a data scientist. This is the first step towards my journey.
सुकून कैसा है बता नहीं सकता, सब घर वालों का भी यही हाल है। खुशी जैसे रूह में उतर सी गई हो। सच पूछें तो ये मुमकिन बनाया एच होम रियल्टी ब्रोकरेज की अनिला जहरा ने।
अपने ख्वाबों का घर आप भी पा सकते हैं, बस एक फोन कॉल और जिंदगी आसान।
Call Anila Zehra at 905-462-0133.
In the heart of Mississauga and easily accessible is Chef Cause's or Dark, a premium banquet hall and event center. Its rich decor and classic ambience welcomes the guests into a royal atmosphere and festive mood. Regardless of the occasion and nature, its space and service adds grandeur and style to all the events hosted here. While you enjoy a sip at the oak-beamed drink station, the artfully crafted traditional cuisine made by our executive chef Kausar Khan will entice your taste buds. From the decor in our banquet hall to the food we serve, everything is made with the spirit of home poured into it. The essence of culture and tradition is woven into everything we do. To celebrate your next event in style, contact us now. Chef Kausar's or Dark, a tradition together.
Cause I look good. Shake my hair and then I move my shoulders, legs, hands and feet. I know you mad, thanks for the input. It ain't my fault that I look this good. And I don't care because I got my hat on lean like a king. I got a smooth disposition. Got the swag running all through my veins. In the coupe when I'm whipping. I try to top like I make a bar crane. When you talk, I don't listen. Cause I don't really wanna hear you complain. I make a smooth transition and bounce back like a basketball game. Who that got him up now? Who that got him funky like me?
हूं तारिक खान, आपका फैमिली रियल्टर इन GTA। अगर आप कोई प्रॉपर्टी खरीदना या बेचना चाहते हैं, रेजिडेंशियल या कमर्शियल, तो मुझे कॉल करें। सेल और बाय, कॉल दिस गाय 647-787-7400।
Muslim Welfare Canada has made a concerted effort to lead the fight against child labor, poverty, and illiteracy in third world countries through the generous support of our donors. Both girls and boys receive free, good quality education. Help educate a needy child for just $1 a day or $30 per month. Donate generously. Call 1-866-754-3111 or visit mwcanada.org.
वेलकम बैक व्यूअर्स, आप देख रहे हैं वॉइस ऑफ टोरंटो टेलीविज़न की लाइव ब्रॉडकास्ट अंजुम मलिक के साथ। मेरे साथ हैं ब्रेंट और अल्गोमा यूनिवर्सिटी से। और ड्यूरिंग मेरी ओपनिंग में मैंने ख़ास तौर पर यह बात की थी कि अगर आपके कोई लव वन हैं जो कि पाकिस्तान में हैं, इंडिया में हैं, मिडल ईस्ट में हैं, जहाँ जहाँ हैं, अगर वो कनाडा आना चाहते हैं, ग्रेट कंट्री टू बी फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल। दूसरी बात यह है कि जो दूसरी यूनिवर्सिटीज़ हैं, यूनिवर्सिटी टोरंटो है, जो वेस्टर्न यूनिवर्सिटीज़, दे आर वेरी एक्सपेंसिव। अल्गोमा यूनिवर्सिटी के पास वो सारे प्रोग्राम्स अवेलेबल हैं at a very minimal cost, so you can save a lot of money and you get the best degree in Canada. Now we're going to go back to him. We're going to talk about a lot of other things that you guys need to know, and I need to know as well from
Sure.
Brent. And first of all, welcome back from the break, Brent. And thank you for coming in today and joining us on this transmission. I want to have this conversation on regular basis. I know you don't live here in Brampton. You fly in from Sault Ste. Marie. But the more you come in here, you more come in and create the awareness and talk to our viewers. It's a good thing for them.
Yeah.
And also it gives us that opportunity to keep on that message growing that this is the university you guys need to come and attend.
Well, I'm happy to make this a regular thing, and I will say, Anjum, it's a lot more fun being live in studio than it is to join virtually.
I know it is. I know. Yeah. We did the virtual one with you on a video call, and I know when Asima was here with another student, it was amazing. Just like we are having this conversation today, it's more interactive this way. We can, you're not like sitting on a phone, and here you're more talking back and forth to each other. And especially then, we can take live phone calls and people are watching, and then they can comment us as well what they're watching and what they would like to ask as well. So one of the questions that I have I have few questions.
Yeah.
One of the questions that I have, that once this undergraduate program they come in, let's talk a little bit about how many years this undergrad program is.
Sure. I mean, depends on the program, but all of Algoma's programs are 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
So some programs like computer science have an option. You do 3 or you do 4. Others like business administration are a 4-year program.
4-year programs. Okay. So you said the yearly cost of the student to do 2 semesters in a year is about $20,000 approximately.
Yep.
Which is very minimal as compared to University of Toronto or other universities.
It's a lot of money, but you're right. When compared to others, it's great value.
Okay. So what kind of programs, when people graduate from Algoma University, what kind of resource management you guys have? How people are placed into jobs? And when they come into Canada as a student, how do you help them to get the work permits? How many hours of work permit is available to them? And how the process work?
Sure. So I mean, just in terms of finding employment when they graduate, I think the biggest piece of advice I would say is not to leave it until you graduate. So we have career services offices that generally they work with students from the time they arrive all the way through to the time they graduate, right? That help them identify employers, work on resume, interview skills.
Get them ready.
They get them ready. They might help them with co-op placements and that sort of thing. So I would say students should take advantage of those services from year one, and then they'll be more than ready to find employment when they graduate. In terms of the work permit while they're studying at the university, we don't help them get it. I mean, they get it automatically. It's one of the nice things about coming to Canada. You get a work permit.
The government gives you that.
The government gives it to you. So.
And it's an open work permit.
Correct.
Okay.
What we do is help students understand the rules and what they can and what they can't do. There are some, it's an automatic work permit, but you need to study, you need to be enrolled in a certain number of courses, so we make sure that they adhere to the guidelines so that they're not breaking any
and
rules.
And you think people are adhering to the guidelines, the students who come?
They are as much as they know. I mean, sometimes funny situations arise and the student will need to take a break from their studies, not knowing how it might impact their work permit.
Because I mean, the feedback that I have got or I get on regular basis that a lot of the students, when they come in from Middle East or India or Pakistan, or they are more focused then on the jobs here and trying to make money to pay for their education, which is fine. I mean, that's what the government allow you to do that. But then they get out of track, out of focus into their studies. Do you find that as a university operator that, and how much do you guys influence them that they need to stay focused on their studies versus more to do on the job?
Yeah, I think it's a challenge not just for international students, but all students now, international or Canadian, are working a lot more than they used to. They're working much more than my friends did when I was a student, and a lot of that has to do with the cost of education, cost of living. Certainly for us, I mean, if students are...
But if somebody's coming in, it's one of the part questions. If somebody's coming as an international student and they are full-time enrolled into the institution with Algoma University, do they have to be at the university every day? Or is every 3 or 4 times a week? How does the scheduling work?
I mean, I think they should expect that they would need to be on campus 5 days a week.
5 days a week?
Yeah. Sometimes you might be able to manipulate your schedule that you're only there for, but I think their expectation should be that they're going to be there 5 days a week. Because oftentimes what, the general guidance would be if you have 15 hours a week of class, which is standard for us, that you're going to have 30 hours a week of homework, right? So it might sound like you've got a lot of free time. You only have class 15 hours a week, but when you add all the homework and studying and projects and stuff on top of it, it really is like having a full-time job, right?
Yeah.
That's the expectation. Yeah. So really, I mean, working more than part-time on top of that would be it just make it difficult to succeed.
Yeah, of course. And is that affecting their graduation, like their dates and the time at the university as well?
I mean,
are they failing in their grades because they're not focusing?
I would say this is not an overwhelming issue, but there are examples of people that decide to work more than they should, and it impacts their grades.
Okay. What kind of programs Algoma University have in place for newcomers to Canada? As a students, meet and greet programs, their boarding and lodging. How do you guys facilitate that?
Sure, so quite a bit, and it's actually ramping up pretty soon. So usually they start around 2 weeks before the start of the term, which are orientation programs, and orientation programs now are pretty robust. It's not, there's a big meet and greet aspect to it, right? So get to know your other classmates, you're away from home, make some friends. Also, though, get to know your faculty, right? Opportunities to meet your professors, opportunities to meet the staff, and then just overall learning how universities in Canada work, right? So how to access the different services at the university, who you need to talk to do what. Oftentimes, assistance like navigating cities, right? Like access to transit and that kind of thing. So those start, 2 weeks prior to the start of the term, we're getting rolling with orientation programs.
Okay. When they arrive first time in Canada, and obviously if they don't have anybody here, no relatives, and they are brand new to the airport, how do they get facilitated?
Yeah, well, they should be, ideally they'd be in touch with our team almost as soon as they receive their visa, right? And they're planning to come. So we have we run pre-departure sessions for students while they're still in their home country. So these would be virtual sessions, but they'll help them with things that they need to prepare for. So September is an easy time to come, but if they were starting in January, for instance, it would be just simple reminders like bring warm clothes, right? It's going to be cold when you arrive in Canada. And then a checklist of things to do, and I think that it's really important that students find housing before they come. Housing can be challenging to find, so you can't expect to land in Canada and then you're going to find housing.
Yeah.
So we can help them. We have in our Sault Ste. Marie campus, we have residences on campus if students want to live there. We have a homestay program where students in Brampton campus can live with Canadian families. Most students are finding housing through their own network, right? Like either a network of family or friends, but the number one thing is make sure you have a place to stay before you arrive in Canada, even if it's just a place to stay for a few weeks until you get settled.
But if somebody doesn't have any, then you guys have that process where you can help them to find their
Yep, they can certainly reach out to us. We have an off-campus housing coordinator.
So how much money a student have to bring with him or her when they're coming in at the first time to Canada, after they have paid your semester fee? How much money they should have then in reserves that they need to bring into Canada?
Well, I mean, the rule, just a general kind of rule of thumb that the government uses for some of their programs is that they should have access to living expenses for a year.
1 year.
That they got that, and then they can look to earn some money through part-time jobs to supplement the rest.
$10,000 is the fee for the one semester. Another $15,000 to $20,000 for their boarding and lodging for 1 year.
Approximately,
depending
so
about $30,000.
Yep.
Okay, well, still is manageable kind of money nowadays. In the currency what we live in now, in the world we live in, used to be back then when I was graduating, maybe 5,000 was a huge number to graduate in 2 or 3 years. Back in the 80s, late 80s and all that. Yeah, but that's just something I think they can afford. And then the government has allowed them now that they can work more hours if they wish to, not to disturb their studies, but they can still focus on their
studies. Especially on their study breaks, right? I think that's really the time to work a lot. Like you get a 4-month break every year. Right. So that's the time to really work, as many full-time hours, as many as you can, and try to bank some money.
So when they are graduating, how often do you have these employers would visit Algoma universities and they would meet kind of the students who are graduating to bring them into their network of job offers?
Yeah, I think more and more often that's a big focus now of our career services is setting up networking events, right? So whether it's on our campus or off of our campus, but giving our students an opportunity to network with these employers, because a lot of times it's a good way to get your foot in the door or to put a face to a name with the resume process.
Can we just put for the reference, put the Algoma University website? What's the website? That's your camera?
Yeah, it's algomau.ca, so www.algomau.ca.
algomau.ca.
Yep.
And it's a toll-free number there that you remember by heart?
I don't remember the toll because people don't call us anymore. But usually it's email would be info at algomau.ca.
All right. Info at algomau.ca or algomau. Is it com or CA?
CA.
.ca is the website.
Yeah, you can also, you're welcome to message us on social media too. If you want to send us a message, you can find us on.
And what is the social media handle?
/AlgomaU.
/Algomau.
Facebook.com/AlgomaU.
/Algomau. algomauniversity.ca, which is algomau.ca. And also, you just mentioned that info at algomau.ca.
Yep.
That's where you can send an email for any inquiries or information that you need. I want to take this opportunity again to thank you, Brent, first of all. At the same time, I want to get a promise from you that you will continue to come on regular basis, off and on, and keep on sharing a lot of this valuable information. But before we let you go tonight, what are some of the very good programs Algoma University is offering to students right now across the world that they can come in and join you?
Sure. I mean, all of our programs are good, but I'll highlight some that are popular right now, but some that we're adding as well. So if we talk about our Brampton campus, so our most popular programs here are the ones we've been offering here the longest, business and computer science. But we're excited.
All right, so first one is computer science.
Business. Popular. But we're excited now too about, we've just added a program in community development, which is very popular.
Community development.
Psychology. We're adding social work and health sciences programming in the next year or two. And then also working on master's programs. We are launching our first master's program this year. It's, we have a master's in computer science and a master's in biology, and working on master's programs in social work and an MBA coming very soon.
I also know that you have two other very unique programs, aviation management and artificial intelligence in that area. What are those programs?
Yeah, aviation management is part of the business program. So it's for people, maybe like yourself, Anjum. I know a little bit about your background now, but it's not meant for pilots, but it's meant for people who want to work in the aviation industry.
Industry in general, yes.
The aviation industry is a growing industry around the world. So it's a unique program in Ontario. There's not too many of them. You mentioned artificial intelligence as part of our computer science program. And then one more that I should mention that's unique to Algoma is we also have a degree in esports, which is the business of esports and running esports events.
Oh, esports.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, another growing field.
Wow.
Esports is now rivaling the film industry in Canada, just in terms of the number of people employed and taking part in it.
Okay. So it's like the game designers also, people who design games and stuff like that as well?
We have game design. Esports is more around the business side of it, like people who, there's competing in esports tournaments and that sort of thing.
Okay. So I just want you to kind of re-wrap a few things, what we talked about today.
Yeah.
So, and this would be benefit, for everyone who's watching you tonight. So first of all is that you can come into Algoma University if you have done your grade 12.
Yeah.
Your language band must have been 6 minimum. This is what you need to qualify. Once that is there and you send in your resume in on info@algomau.ca, that's the email you can send it on. Their team will review it, and they will send you a message that you are eligible to be enrolled into one of the programs, whichever you have requested for. Once that is done, then the first semester fee has to be paid, $10,000. Once that is done, the university will send you a letter of invitation or letter of acceptance, and then you can go and apply for your visa. And before you come down here into Canada, you must have 1 year of boarding and lodging with $15,000 to $20,000. So you must have about $30,000 if you are thinking of coming to Canada, viewers, for all your loved ones. You must have that kind of money. Now, do you have to show any money when you are in the country of origin where you are applying the visa, that you have X amount of dollars in the banks to the embassies as well?
Yeah, there is, and I don't know the details on that. Like, I don't know exactly what the Canadian government is looking for, but certainly they're looking for proof that you've got the financial means to study abroad. I think a lot of students are applying through the SDS stream now. They're choosing to apply for a visa through the Student Direct stream. It's very popular in India and in Pakistan.
Yeah.
And there, what the Canadian government is recommending is very in line with what you just said, but that you would pay a tuition deposit of 1 full year rather than 1 semester, 1 full year.
1 full year.
So $20,000, and then a $10,000 investment certificate. So close to what you're saying, around approximately
$30,000. Similarly, this is what you need.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the messages that you want to give out to our community today regarding Algoma University, why Algoma? And we just know why, in a way that is much cheaper, very recognized. The university degree is accepted all over, wherever you go in the world, and especially in Canada as well. Now, once they come in for the Algoma University program for 2 or 3 years, what is the process for them to become a PR, permanent resident into Canada?
Sure. I won't speak to the PR side of it, but what students do, one of the advantages of coming to Canada is that when you graduate from your program, so any of these programs at Algoma University, you get a guaranteed 3-year work permit.
Okay.
So you can stay in Canada, you can work any job, you can work anywhere in Canada during that time. And I think that for most people, if they find employment over the course of that 3 years. They use that as a stepping stone to apply for their permanent residency. And it's the path that a lot of students take.
Okay, okay. So it will lead to permanent resident status.
Could.
It could. It could. If they've been accepted by by an employer.
It's a common route. It's certainly a commmen path to permanent residency.
This is what the government also want. They want people to come here, get educated here, get on-hand experience, get accepted by the employers in Canada. That could lead to PR and then citizenship afterward.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Brent. Thank you for the wonderful information. And we can see you, want to see you back soon.
Yeah.
We'll schedule that. But before you go, a message to our community on your camera.
Sure. No, it's been a lot of fun being on your show. It's a lot of fun for me to get to travel to Brampton regularly. I'm feeling very at home here. And you mentioned also at the beginning of the show, I know you mentioned, you said a happy Independence Day to your viewers in Pakistan. Happy Independence Day.
Today's the Indian one.
In India.
Yes.
And
yesterday was Pakistan.
I've been lucky enough to travel to both of those countries, and I've got wonderful friends in both countries. So I would extend the same on behalf of Algoma University. Happy Independence Day to people watching.
All right, thank you, Brent. Viewers, this was our program for tonight, and I'll tell you honestly that it's a great university. I visited them, known the president, known Brent, and known the other team. Very hospitable people and very encouraging as well. They are there to help you. They're here to make it happen for you. If you have a loved one in Pakistan or India or Middle East and they would wish to come to Canada under a student program and want to come and educate themselves here and then become, a permanent resident of Canada and a citizen down the line, no better country in the world than Canada. Apna khayal rakhein. Give us your feedback, and for feedback, our email address is voiceoftorontotv@gmail.com. Till next week, bye-bye. Very good evening. Bye-bye.